depending on what my intuition says about what this couple can talk about, I will direct them to a number of questions. But one of the ones that, what I usually try to do in the first thing is to get them to talk about something other than why they came to see me. Because I know why, and I know if they talk about it, they're going to go into their anger and so forth. And I don't want them to experience in my presence what they can do by themselves outside of my office. So I don't allow them to go into
And that's different than some other
relationship.
couples therapists like Gottman, Weil,
Yeah.
who want them to get into the conflict.
I won't allow it.
Okay.
And-
How come?
Well, if I allow it, then I condone it. And I want my office to be the place which replicates the safety of the childhood home they did not have.
Okay.
So when they come and sit, now they'll get into it, but I'll interrupt it.
Okay. Well, they,
In
they
fact,
do
I
too,
even
yeah.
asked one man one time to say, this is a law in my office. You cannot yell at your wife, and if you don't stop now, you can go to the door. But you have to take your wife with you because I only see couples, so this is the end of the therapy. And he said, you're serious? And I said, absolutely serious. So if you want to stay in my office, you sit down and you do what I say.
Well, like my mother used to say, you don't go into other people's homes and start messing it up, and you shouldn't do
this
it in
is
your
my
own
office.
house.
This is my
Right.
office. And then he said to me afterwards, he said, you know, you're the first person who's ever put a boundary around my anger. And I want you to know that I appreciate that. And I didn't actually know I could stop my anger. I said, okay, thank you. I'm glad about that.
There's
So now we know
there's a
what to
place
do.
for the law.
There's a place for the law. And so then we go back to the process. And so, okay, now would you mirror your partner? And he, you know, he goes through that turbulence and does that. But what I start off with is, would you, George, or would you, Mary, tell, it can be any number of questions, what was it like for you to be a child in your family? Tell Mary about what that was like. Oh, well, why do I want to be a child? Would you just tell her? You know, it's important to know what you brought to the marriage. And you each brought some childhood fears and vulnerabilities and pains and so forth. So, blah, blah, blah. Would you do that? Well, childhood was, and it's Mary, and such. And then, Mary, will you mirror that back? Or I might say, you know, I have a feeling that, as I'm just sitting here in the first few minutes, is that I have a feeling that what would really help your relationship is if you had a plan. Because I'm feeling chaos in the room. They have no direction whatsoever.
Right, common.
So, would you tell Mary what the marriage would look like if it were just right?